Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel where I share great ideas. Today this will be the last in a series of videos on what I call my super sander. I've already made 2 construction videos and uploaded those of how to make this unit for a belt sander. I call this my super sander, as I mentioned, because it's super easy to build. It's super nice to use, and the tracking is super easy to track it and replace belts. So overall, it's a super unit. Anyway, I've got all the parts laid out here to assemble this. I'm just going to assemble it today, and you'll be able to see how I made the cabinet. If you want to make one and with a separate motor, the first units I made attached to the wood lathe, and that might be the way to go too. But if you want a cabinet model so it's available to use all the time, you might want to see how I did mine and maybe pattern it after that. So anyway, I'll get arranged here and start putting this together, and you can see how it goes. Yesterday I had a friend videotape me putting it together, and I accidentally deleted the videos, the first part anyway here, and so you're going to have to put up with me. Anyway, I'll arrange things and we'll get started here, and you'll see how it goes together. It's super simple too, and you could call it a super cabinet. But anyway, stay tuned and we'll get this put together quick like. The first thing that you need to do is, of course, find a motor. And when I say find a motor, I mean find a motor. Don't go out and buy one. There's lots of motors, used motors around, and you may have a friend that has one. I tend to look around and find used things. I picked up this motor. I'm not sure where, but I know I didn't pay anything for it, so that's a bonus there, and I'm sure you could do the same thing. Now, and then you mount it on a board. Use something fairly heavy, like a regular 2-inch stock or 1.5 inch, whatever you have on hand. And the width of it, which I found by experimenting and building this, needs to be less than the sander unit that you're mounting on there. And the amount less will be the amount of the side that fits on the pulley side. And so the width of the sander minus the width of the board that goes onto the pulley side. The other thing that you'll do is put a switch on it so you can turn it on and off without plugging it on. I've already got this mounted on here, and the back side has little bayonet fixtures, so I can actually take this right off, and slip the bayonet fixtures out and take it off. But for practical purposes today, I've already assembled it. So anyway, the first thing that I'll turn this around here so you can see the other side here with the pulley on here. This is what I mean by the long side here that goes on the pulley side. It's going to be the full length of the board there. This section over here with this hole in here is for the vacuum, and so this will be the sawdust. I say sawdust, but it's a dust collecting part of this unit here. It all works out because of the length of the sanding unit there. So before we do that, I want to show you this. This is how I adjust the tension of the pulley. There's slots, of course, in the motor, on the motor mounting base, and then I've put spaces underneath to bring it up a small amount, because on this part here, which is going to push the motor into position, I've made a little slot there, and I want it to stay in place. So there's this little the small part there that is going to fit right underneath the motor, and then that goes on the top there. And then to adjust the tightness of the metal, I've just taken a little board here with screws on it, and it's going to screw onto there. So right now, I guess I'll have to go get my screwdriver and screw this on here. So just give me a second and I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, I found my trusty screwdriver here. Anyway, I'm putting this all together with screws. That way you can change, take apart, whatever, and not using any glue. Most wood projects, of course, I use glue, but giving this one a shot with no glue. Anyway, we'll just pop this on here. There we go. Make sure this slides up nicely. Motor should be back, so you can put the belt on easily. And my little tightening device. I thought I maybe should put bolts on here, but I found that this idea here worked plenty good, because if your motor can slide, it will there we go. Now we're ready to put the one side on already. Put the tightening mechanism on. There's the side unit here. When you make your hole, you got to do a fair amount of calculation before you actually do it. But anyway, you make this wider this way. Make a circle here, separated. So you got adjustment for your motor back and forth. And of course, the hole for the dust collecting hose. So we'll find the position for that. It'll go flush to the front there. There we go. I got that assembled. A couple screws on there. I could probably put another one in there. Okay, the next thing I'll do is put in the end of the for the dust collection there. That'll go in just like that, and secured with 2 screws. That looks pretty good there. Okay, now we'll take and put the other side on there. I've put these pieces on the top here, and this will be used later for the dust collection part of it there. I'll just turn this over so it's a little easier for me to get at anyway. And one in the bottom. Now that we got that side on there, you can see the cavity for the where the dust is going to be collected there. There actually could be a piece put in here so the dust doesn't fall all the way to the bottom, but anyway, we'll give that a try. Now this will just go on to the end. Make sure it's and a few more screws on the other side. There we go. And that's all complete. Oh, okay, I've got the end put on here, and for where the dust is going to be collected there. Had to move the camera a little bit now that it's getting tall. And the next step will be to put our super sander on. So I'll move this around so you can see this a little better here. There we go. And this is the back end. So that's where our pulley will go. And it's going to sit on there just like that. When I had it together, I put a couple little marks here so I know where to put it together at. And we're just going to secure it with 3 screws. That was as simple as could be, just to attach it there. Now we'll flip it around here, and so you can see the other side. And then all we have to do is put the cover on here. When the cover goes on, you have to pull this up a little bit so there's a gap there. You're going to need that up. So when you back this off, you just pull this, the sanding belt off and put a new one on. We'll stick this on here. Pull it up a little bit. And I've made a little pencil mark so I can see where I'm at. And that's all there is to it. It's basically ready to roll. So the only thing now is to put the parts onto here. And I believe I've got that in the next video there. So we'll convert over to that, and I'll demonstrate how well it works. So to change the belt, we just take the 4 screws out, pull this off, change your belt, put a new one on. And the last thing that I've got to do here, I'll turn it around. I almost forgot to do this here. And you can see what it looks like on the other side there. Okay, we'll put our belt on, and that'll go on there. And the next thing is to use our adjustment things here, and one side there. This one little dab on the other side. There we go. The belt's all done up nice. It's going to stay there. And you can get in here with a wrench to tighten the nuts up. And again, this little hole here, we can tighten our nuts up there. Okay, so just for safety's sake, we're going to put our little position your blade guard on. And that's all there is to it. We'll take our dust put a connector in here for the dust collection for vacuum, and we'll turn it back the other way. There we go. Now we can see this side. This is where I'm going to be working on it. I got the switch on this side. You can switch it up and on there. In fact, maybe we should plug it in, see if it works. Okay, we'll see if she goes. I'll just review the tracking on here. The bolts are easily available here to tracking. Once your belt is on here for a while, it gets a little stretched in the center, and it stays right on your tracking. You hardly ever have to adjust it after the first setup there. Anyway, I'll show you how this thing works here. We'll do a little addition here. I think I've got that on the next video. Okay, we've got her plugged in now and ready to go. I'll just the same as I've demonstrated on my other super sanders. I'm using the same pickup here. Also made a little tab there to hold that in place. And this is the type of pickup where I can use long pieces. With a dust collector vacuum hooked on, it'll suck the dust very effectively into that area there. Okay, now we're going to switch to my other unit. There's another way to use a sander, of course, is with small pieces. I put a little stop on there quite quickly and simply. It's got space for the sander to go underneath of it there, as well as some vacuum holes here. And then this piece will just pop on here, the same as the other one, and ready to go. With this type of arrangement here, if you have your block right up against the stop here, the sawdust is shot back into here, and pretty well 100% of it will be contained here. You don't always have to have your dust collector on if you just have it for small pieces. And this is why I call it a super sander. It's just so super nice to use. And this one here, it's got the two rollers. You can easily pick it up with the two rollers, take it wherever you're working. And anyway, thanks for watching here, and hope that this gives you some ideas to make your own super sander. Make something a lot nicer than this one, but you can't get it to work much better than this, I don't think. Anyway, I wish I would have come up with this idea years ago. I'm 72 now, and if I would have thought of this 20, 30 years ago, I'd have been a lot happier person. So don't delay. Get started and build yourself a super sander. You will certainly appreciate it and wish you had done it years ago. And even if you're 90, get at her and get a super sander made. Enjoy life while you can. So thanks for watching, and subscribe. I'm sure I'll have some more great ideas for you.